FCClubhouse Online. I'm so glad you guys are able to tune in and catch us, whether you're going to watch first thing in the morning or even if you watch us later in the week. We're so glad you're able to tune in. We've been doing a series called App Stores, and we have talked about the Bible app, and we have talked about Angry Birds, and so I'm excited to introduce our next app. But before we do that, we got a few things we're going to do beforehand, and we're going to start off with our question of the week. And so it's going to be on the screen. I'd love for you guys to put it in the comments. But I want to know, what is one of your favorite pieces of candy? And so, like I said, tell that to one another or put it in the comments. But I want to know, what is one of your favorite pieces of candy? So before we talk about our brand new app today, we are going to get ready for worship. And so I want to encourage you guys to stand on up and let's sing and let's dance and let's just worship God together because He's worthy of all of our praise.
Waking up knowing there's a reason. All my dreams come alive. Life is for living. With you, I've made my decision. You lift me up, fill my eyes with wonder. Forever young in your love, this freedom's untainted. With you, no moment is wasted. Sun now bursting through the clouds, black and white, turns to color all around. All is new in the Savior I have found. This is living now. This is living now. You're right beside me. In your love, I'm complete. There's nothing like living with you. This life you created, I choose. See the sun now bursting through the clouds, black and white, turn to color all around. All is new in the Savior I have found. This is living now. When night has fallen, when fear is coming, still you're calling me. When faith is lost and my hope exhausted, you will be my strength. When my mind says I'm not good enough, God, you're enough for me. Yeah, I've decided I'm not giving up, 'cause you won't give up on me. You won't give up on me. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go now. promises to me. Whoa, now there's no stopping what you have started until it is complete. When my mind says I'm not good enough, God, you're enough for me. Yeah, I decided I'm not giving up, 'cause you won't give up on me. You won't give up on me. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. No, I feel it breaking out like an echo, echo in my When my mind says I'm not good enough, God, you're enough for me. Yeah, I decided I'm not giving up, 'cause you won't give up on me. You won't give up on me. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. No, I feel it breaking out, breaking out. Hey, your love is holding on and it won't let go. I feel it breaking out like an echo. Your love is holding on and it won't let go. No, I feel it breaking out like an echo, echo in my soul. In my
Past few weeks, we've been joined by our awesome friends Chris and David, and we found out a couple weeks ago that Chris started his brand new talk show, and so we're going to catch them real quick and hear what they're going to talk to us about today in iChris. So check out this video.
Hey guys, welcome back to iChris, the most excellent show that brings you the latest in technology. I'm your host, Chris, and with me is the most talented, awesome friend, David.
Hey.
So, this week on iChris, we're going to be talking about a really cool game called Candy Crush.
I love candy.
But what about the game?
If it has anything to do with candy, I love it.
That's a good call. Well, Candy Crush is a totally fun game where you swipe little pieces of candy on the playing board to try and line up 3 or more pieces in a row. Every time you make a match, you win points, and the game pieces shift.
The only bad thing is you don't get to eat the candy because that leaves the board because, it's not real candy.
Well, of course, but that's alright. See, when you play this game, you have to play smart. You can't take too many moves or else the game's over. You have to think ahead and look carefully. And use what you're given wisely, and it'll pay off in big time.
Hey, that sounds like something I read in the Bible.
Oh, you're right, David. Jesus taught us that when we are faithful with a little, He will trust us with more. See, God wants us to do little things He gives us to do, so when time comes for greater things, we can do great things for the Lord.
That reminds me when I was younger, and I wanted a dog. My son, a dog was a big responsibility. But if I could prove myself with a little responsibility, we get that dog.
So, what do?
He got me some goldfish.
Goldfish? Excellent! How did it go?
They died.
Oh.
I didn't get the dog.
Poor goldfish.
But I do have a totally awesome garden in the backyard.
Well, how'd you get that?
By showing I could take care of the Venus flytrap.
Well, there you go. Be faithful with the little things, and God will bless you with the bigger things.
You should see the size of those VS fly traps now. They can catch eagles.
What? Whew. Maybe I won't visit for a little while. Well, that's all for Chris this week. Have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow.
Bye.
So last week, like I said, we talked about the game Angry Birds. And what the idea of that game is there was these birds who had their eggs stolen by pigs, and so the birds are trying to get revenge on these pigs. And so you could sit there for hours playing that game. And I actually want to talk to you guys this week. We're going to be introducing another very addictive game, and it's called Candy Crush. And now, I don't know how many of you guys have played Candy Crush, but once you kind of get starting, it's really easy to kind of get lost and kind of stuck playing that game. So much time could go by and you wouldn't even realize it because you're just so interested in the game and you just want to beat those levels. And so it's a very simple game. What it is you have a board and there's a ton of candy on it. And each level you have different objectives. So sometimes you're trying to clear off a certain number of red pieces of candy or clear off the jelly or there's chocolate, there's all these different things. And so each level has a goal. And what you have to do is you have to move and swipe pieces of candy to try to make 3 in a row. In each level, they only give you a certain amount of moves, so you can't just sit there and just randomly move pieces, or you won't be able to beat the level. There's a little bit of strategy, but like I said, they only give you so many options or chances before you have to start it over if you aren't able to beat it. And if you're really, really careful, you can win, and it just takes one smart move at a time. And that's what I really like about Candy Crush is that it can teach us that when we're careful with the little things, we can win at the end. So if we're strategic and smart about how we do each move, then ultimately we can reach that goal of beating that level. And when we read the Bible, we see that Jesus, he taught us a very similar lesson. And in this lesson, he teaches us that when we're faithful with all the little things, that God is going to trust us with the bigger things. And so this morning, we're going to read a really cool passage in Matthew. It's going to be on the screen, but in Matthew 25. And so I would love for you guys to just read along with me as I read it. We're going to start at verse 14. Again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also the one who with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the one who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things, and I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Then the man with 2 bags of gold also came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things, and I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Then the master who had received 1 bag of gold came. Master, he said, I know that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you. His master replied, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gathered where I have not scattered seed. Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I return I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant outside, into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." So just a kind of a little bit of a recap of the story that we read. There's this master, and he has these servants, and he gives each of them some gold. He's testing his servants, right? He gives them, the first guy, he gives them 5 bags of gold. The second guy, he gives him 2 bags of gold. And the last guy, he gives him 1 bag of gold. And his master wants to see what they're going to do with this money. Right? And we see when we read the story that the first 2, they took that money and they went out and they made more money with it. Right? So they were faithful with that little amount of money that they had. They ended up being trusted with more. But then we look at the third person in this story, the guy with 1 bag of gold. And he kind of misses this opportunity that he has, right? He was scared of his master. He didn't want to lose the money. He decided to just dig it in the ground and not deal with it, and just in case something happened or he lost it. And this is just a really cool story that Jesus told that kind of shows us that idea that Jesus wants us to know that when we are faithful with those little things, that we're going to be able to be blessed with more. And Jesus isn't actually like asking us to just go invest our money or gold coins, but he's asking us to invest ourselves. See, Jesus, he wants to see us do little things like loving each other. And when we do, he's going to bless us with chances to do that even more. Because Jesus, when we look at his ministry and the things that he's doing, the words that he says, he is calling all of us to go out and share the really good news of who he is and what he's done for us. Because God can do great things in your life, but it all starts with us with taking those small steps, having God entrust us with doing those small steps. Because God has called a lot of people to do big things in his names. Right? We can see that through pastors of our church. We can see that through the people who lead in worship. We can see that through children's pastors, youth pastors, all the leaders, ministries, how God's using them in big ways. I mean, we also see missionaries, the people who are traveling around the world, who are going out to tell other people about Jesus. We see Christians who are musicians or filmmakers. We see them reaching out through a different way, through their work. And God can use that to change other people's lives. And if we ask them how that all started or what that looked like to get to where they're at, they would probably tell you it started really small. It didn't just happen overnight. They weren't doing this and out of nowhere they're already doing what they're doing. It took a lot of small steps in trusting God to get there. And so that's what I really want to encourage with you guys today, that being faithful with the little things, it starts with those little things. That we can show God that we're being faithful with our money and our allowances. So a really great example of that would be if you had an allowance of $2, your faithfulness with God, you give 20 cents to the church. and tithe, because that's a way for us to worship God. Another really great way is just being kind to a friend at school. Maybe you see someone who's really needing a friend, or someone who's having a bad day. You can stop what you're doing and just hang out with them, spend time with them, and be that friend. You can talk to them, you can pray with them. You can even just being someone there to just listen can change that person's life. We can also do things to help our parents, mom and dad. And I don't mean the things that we already have to do, like our chores or, behaving with our siblings. But maybe taking that extra step and looking for something that's not expected of you. To kind of go and take that extra step, go that extra mile, and find ways that we can help them outside of what we're already asked to do. And so I really want to leave this with you guys, is that God can do great things in your life. So I'm going to say that again, that God can do great things in your life. Maybe some of you guys might be pastors. Maybe some of you guys might be missionaries. Maybe you might be doing something that's singing, or I don't know what it is that God does. But it all starts right now from taking those small and faithful steps. Being faithful in the little things, and then God, He's going to entrust you with those bigger things, so much more. And so we're going to kind of get ready for just a time of prayer. And so I would love for you guys to join me. If there's anything going on that we can be praying about, I'd love for you to put that in the comments. So we could be just lifting up what's going on in your life, whether it's a praise, something good's happened, or something that's kind of hard or you're struggling with. We want to be there for you guys. So join me in prayer. Hey God, we just thank you for our time together, and just for being able to talk about you, for being able to worship you, to be able to just answer silly questions. God, help us just to be faithful. Help us to take those tiny steps into the unknown when we're not sure what that looks like, God. Just help us to, like I said, just take that step. Because in our passage today, it said that we're faithful with the little, then you're going to entrust us with more, God. And so just help us be faithful. We thank you so much for our time together. I just pray everyone just has a really awesome week. You are so good to us. And in I pray, amen. I'm so glad you guys were able to tune in. And so before we close, we're going to get ready for our Bible verse. And so it's going to be on the screen. And I would love for you guys just to be able to read it together. So we're going to just kind of say it really loud together again. So let's read our Bible verse. How can a young person keep his way pure? By living according to your word. So like I said, I'm glad you guys were able to tune in this Sunday. I'm praying for you, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I'll talk with y'all soon.